It's honestly wild how quickly the media can flip the narrative when it suits them. One minute, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are public enemies, the villains of the Windsor soap opera, and the next they're being painted as tragic figures in need of redemption. And right in the middle of this media shuffle, Prince William is suddenly cast as the cold, heartless brother blocking the path to peace. But let's get real for a second. Why is the mainstream media so desperate to transform Harry into a misunderstood hero, the prodigal son longing for homecoming? The truth is, Harry and Meghan didn't tiptoe off the royal stage looking for quiet in California. They detonated their royal bridges, aired the family's secrets on primetime TV, accused the monarchy of racism, and took aim at nearly every senior royal, from Queen Elizabeth to Queen Camilla. And now we're supposed to believe William's the problem because he won't roll out the red carpet and act like none of it ever happened? There was this headline that really set the tone. Prince William must bring Harry in from the cold to stop the Sussexes seeking revenge. Are we serious? Since when is it William's job to babysit a fully grown man who willingly torched his royal ties and ran straight into the arms of Netflix and Oprah? This is a guy who made a multi-million-dollar brand out of painting himself as a victim while dragging his own family through the mud. Yet, like clockwork, here comes the media spin machine, acting like it's William's duty to fix it all. Even outlets like the Daily Express and The Sun, who once couldn't wait to rip Harry apart, are now pushing this soft-focus fantasy about reconciliation. Charles is suddenly the heartbroken father desperate to reconnect, and William is being framed as a stubborn, unfeeling barrier to healing. But pause for a moment. What exactly has Harry done to earn a seat back at the royal table? Did we all miss an apology? Has he taken accountability for accusing his family of racism? For suggesting his own father plotted to cut off his security in a way that endangered his life? And let's not forget his attacks on Camilla, which reportedly cut so deep it was the last straw for King Charles. Yet somehow we're told Charles is supposed to just suck it up for the cameras, and William is the villain for refusing to play along. What's really going on here is textbook media gaslighting, and people are starting to catch on. Royal fans, actual followers who've watched this drama unfold for years, aren't buying the sudden push to make Harry look like the prodigal son. They remember how Meghan and Harry treated the late Queen, how they used their titles for profit, how they tried to rewrite their story while casting the rest of the royals as monsters. So why the shift? Well, media thrives on conflict, and the Harry and Meghan as villains arc is getting stale. Everyone's tired of that storyline. So now they're switching it up, recasting William as the bad guy to keep the drama going. It's profitable. It's clickbait. And unfortunately, it's dragging the future king through the mud for the sake of ratings. But let's be clear, William isn't the one making shady Netflix deals. He's not leaking stories or turning private family drama into content. He's doing his job, staying committed to the monarchy, and protecting his wife and kids from more chaos. And for that, he's being vilified. The whole thing's upside down. William's refusal to play along with the Harry rehabilitation campaign isn't coming from bitterness. It's about self-preservation for his family, his children, and the monarchy itself. He knows the cost of letting someone back in who's made betrayal their personal brand. And it's not just about old wounds. It's about current behavior. Harry hasn't changed. He's still pulling the same stunts, staging spontaneous media leaks, orchestrating strategic appearances that suspiciously align with royal events, and dropping cryptic statements through anonymous friends in the press. Take that latest so-called peace meeting. Harry didn't even meet Charles in person. It was his team who met with the king's aides. Yet somehow it got twisted into a touching reunion storyline. And where did that narrative come from? Not Buckingham Palace, not Kensington. It came straight from Harry's media orbit. That's the game. Manufacture headlines, then let sympathetic journalists do the rest. Look who's helping carry the water now. Charlotte Griffiths, once seen as a neutral player, is suddenly the frontrunner in pushing Harry-friendly pieces. She's not as messy as Omid Scobie, but she's echoing the same talking points. Harry wants peace. William must open the door. Charles is trying his best. It's all perfectly orchestrated, like there's a memo circulating behind closed doors telling every royal correspondent to pivot hard toward forgiveness. It's not organic. It feels engineered. But here's the issue. The British public hasn't forgotten. They remember the Oprah interview. They remember the Netflix docuseries. They remember the book deals, the passive-aggressive digs, the not-so-subtle threats, the veiled jabs at Catherine and Camilla. And when you think about it, no one has taken more hits than Queen Camilla. That's when Charles finally snapped. That was the one line Harry should have known never to cross, but he did. And now he's acting confused about why the door won't open. There's this idea being floated that if Meghan is cut out of the picture, people might be willing to let Harry back in. But let's not kid ourselves. Harry was never a puppet. He wasn't dragged along reluctantly. He drove that narrative. He doubled down again and again. The Meghan distraction tactic might have worked in the early days, but not anymore. People see through it. Harry's fingerprints are all over the chaos, and the public knows it. That's why William's stance matters. He's drawing a line, not out of spite, but because someone has to. There has to be a consequence. If you rip apart your family on live TV and make millions off their pain, there's no strolling back in for tea and photo ops like nothing happened. That's delusional. And William's the only one willing to say it. Meanwhile, the media keeps trying to paint Charles as the peacemaker, the loving father, the grieving dad who just wants his sons to reunite. But even that image is falling apart. Multiple sources have confirmed Charles still refuses to be in the same room as Harry. The only meeting that happened was between staffers. That's not reconciliation. It's damage control. It's optics. And let's not forget, Charles isn't just a father. He's a monarch. His first duty is to the crown. Bringing Harry back into the royal fold sends the worst possible message. You can attack the institution, undermine it publicly, and still be welcomed back because of sentiment. That's not leadership. That's weakness. And William knows the monarchy can't afford to be weak right now. Not with the Queen gone. Not with public trust wearing thin. And definitely not with Harry playing PR chess every time the spotlight fades. The image the public sees now couldn't be more divided. On one side, you got Prince William, steady, focused, showing up for duty, representing the monarchy with consistency and dignity. On the other side, Harry popping up when convenient, often looking tired, disheveled, and to be blunt, lost. You see it in the photos. You hear it in the way he speaks, rambling, distracted, always seeming like he's either chasing a new purpose or running from his own past. People are noticing the difference, and they're tired of pretending the two brothers are even operating in the same universe anymore. William is raising the next king. Harry is chasing Hollywood relevance. William is attending charity events, military commemorations, global climate initiatives. Harry is doing podcast appearances, brand launches, and awkward photo ops that scream PR stunt. The contrast couldn't be clearer. That's why so many royal watchers have been pushing back against the media's narrative reset. It's not that people want a never-ending feud between brothers. It's that people want accountability. They want recognition that words have weight, that family betrayal isn't just something you sweep under the rug for the sake of a headline. And they absolutely don't want to see William punished for having boundaries. Even now, as coverage ramps up about supposed olive branches, the same old tactics are playing out. Leaks to the press, conveniently timed appearances, sympathetic pieces dripping with emotional manipulation. And Meghan? She's been mostly quiet in this cycle, which is likely strategic. The spotlight's now fully on Harry, and the PR teams are banking on that. If they can spin him as the prodigal son, remorseful, misunderstood, they think people will forget the damage. But people haven't forgotten, especially not about the Queen. That's a wound that still stings for many Brits. In her final months, the Queen was under immense stress. The family was fractured. The Sussexes were launching attacks left and right. And many feel that the tension and chaos Harry helped create robbed Queen Elizabeth of peace in her last days. That's not something a photo op in Africa or a charity handshake erases. That's lasting. And then there's Queen Camilla. Harry's public attacks on her struck a nerve that still hasn't healed. He didn't just criticize her role, he vilified her. And for Charles, that wasn't just disrespectful. It was unforgivable. Whatever chance existed for a slow thaw between father and son melted the second Camilla became a target. That was the final line, and Harry crossed it with both feet. So when the media paints Charles as the doting dad and Harry as the poor estranged son, they're skipping over the part where trust was shattered on a global stage. They're ignoring how many family members were hurt, not just privately but publicly, deliberately, and with profit. This isn't just a matter of family drama.